Okay, yeah, I mean, no problem. We didn't go far much. So what I really wanted, Aftab, is okay. Let me get out of here. Okay, when I did it, let me go back in there. So for you to be able to, get a good hand on all this, what you have to do is go in there and practice all this every day up until wherever I covered. So start from top and then come back here, stop right here, and then go on the bottom and then open a VI editor. When you say VI holiday, okay, and then you hit enter, it's going to open a blank page where you could start typing in there. So these are the commands you have to follow. So for example, if you want to type something in there, you just type I, and then it goes into the insert mode. You could see on the bottom left, insert mode. Do you see that? That way you know it's in the insert mode, so you could like start typing in there. Okay, then you push escape, then you are into command mode. So you could move your cursor around, and even if you try to type, it's not going to type anything unless it's a command. But for you to able to start typing in there, you have to use I to insert mode, okay? And then, for example, if you want to use a slang yank, but it's like actually copying. So if I push YY on my keyboard and then push P, it copied like a whole line and then start pasting it a line below. Similarly, you could like go through all this, and then it says 1 shift G, so it will go like very first line. So let's see here. 1 shift G. Okay, let me undo that. Okay, shift 1G or shift G, I suppose. Okay, shift G says the bottom of the line, but it's not doing that. Delete the line and goes into the insert mode. Okay. Okay, there you go. This one worked. Let's go back in here and it says CW. Removes the word and start typing. So when I type CW, it will probably delete this and start typing in there. Okay. I'll get back to you about 1 shift G or shift G. I may have pushed the wrong key here. Anyway, you guys get the idea, right? I mean, what I really want you to do is not really rely on this. If you think there is some error, let me know. Then I'll fix it later, okay? So I'm going to go over some commands here. Okay. So remember always if you want to create a shift, colon, and X, it will save and quit. And if you want to read the file, you do cat holiday, and you could read the file in there, okay? All right, I'm gonna go over some basic commands here that you really need to focus on when you start working on it. Okay. Let's see here. There is one command called who am I? Who am I? When you type who am I, it will tell you who are you? Who are you in logged in as? It says root here, right? So let me switch something. Which when you do SU, you're telling the system to switch user, and there is a username in this folder. I'm sorry, in this host is called Ansible. So just don't worry about the name here. There is a name could be anything. Okay, and then I hit enter, so it just switches as Ansible. Over here, you see who you are logged in as, and this is the host name. Okay, so in here, if I do who am I, what will happen? Anybody could tell me? Okay, I hit enter. Who am I right now? I am this person, Ansible. I'm not root anymore because I switched out of root and then I became Ansible 2L. Okay. All right, so let me exit out of this. If I type who am I, can somebody tell me what is going to be?
Ansible?
No, you could check here. You see root here. Whatever you have before @, you see as root. So when I type who am I, is going to be root. Okay. One other thing I'm going to show you here is you see this pound sign here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you see a pound sign here, that means you're logged in as root. There is one other indication that you could tell if you're logged in here, you're logged in as root. So I'm going to make it be. Okay, so let's try. Let me log in as a regular user. Okay, when I do like this, and you see a dollar sign. When you see a dollar sign, that means you're logged in as a regular user. You see that? You guys see that? Okay. So you all guys already know about this, right? ls means it will list what's in the folder, right?
Yes.
And then there is an exit command here. I type exit to get out of the user. And then what will happen if I type exit again? The screen will close. There you go.
Okay.
So I have to log in again because I type exit. And then what if I type log out? What will happen? So when I hit log out, it will close this window. But it does not shut the computer down. Most of this host you're talking about, the servers, the computers, they will stay up. See, nothing happened to it. That's all. So whatever activity you're doing here is going to affect over here, depending on the command. Okay, so clear is a command to clear it. It clears the screen. And then we already talked about touch. It creates a file, right? So let me just put that down here. By the way, what is this blinking cursor? What is the cursor when you are there? What does it mean? From the Windows days, you could tell them this is a prompt. The cursor is sitting at the prompt. What does prompt means? Is asking, it's waiting for you to put it's prompting you to put something in there. So that's why it's called prompt. Okay. And you know about PWD. PW means present working directory. Okay. And let me put down here touch. And there is a command also called which. And when you just type which and hit enter, it's not going to give much information. It's going to give you like how to use it. So which command is actually you use to see if a following software is installed on the software, or the command is installed on your host. So if you type like which touch, so what this is telling me is this command touch is sitting in the bin /bin/touch. That's the name of a folder. In that folder, it has like a binary code sitting in there. So if we go up here, the bin folder has all the binary user commands. So all the commands you type in there, it's actually touch is running from here. And then the simple things you do on the host is actually series of commands, or series of series of code that is okay. Right. It doesn't make sense to us, but this is actually code that a simple command touch, it takes this much code to make it available, make it for us to be able to write. It has a lot of information. Right now it's showing us as a garbled information, but this is actually zeros and ones that the host understands. This is the case with even Windows. Any computer, any digital device which is running anything, this is the way all it's written in. Okay. We use this cat command. Cat this to write Okay, we already did this cat command, and then Control D, Control plus D. It will you will save and quit the file. Okay. Anything else I could think of? Okay. Let's see here. In general, what we're doing is our activity is described as input and output. Okay. Okay. So what's happening is Linux takes input from keyboard. From keyboard as commands. Then displays the output on the screen. Does this make sense, or is it getting it doesn't make any sense to you guys?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So in general, so when you type something in there, okay, who am I? This is a command, this is input, and then this is the output. Okay, simple as that. You give him input, it will give you output. Okay. All right. So, but what you could do is, instead of having it displayed here, you could use the redirect. Redirect is like, for example, I want to see the IP information. So I type ifconfig, right? It throws out pretty good information here. I see. Let me just lower the settings. You could still see the screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, I have ifconfig and I hit enter. So what I did was I put in the input. When I hit enter, then I get the output. So this is the output. But what I could do is, instead of seeing it on the display, I will tell it to go and write it to the file. Okay. And then I'm creating at the same time when I do greater than sign, it's actually reference as redirect. We are redirecting this information. Instead of coming up into the screen, we are redirecting it to go into this file. And when I hit enter, there is not going to be output, because the output you told the host to go put that whatever you did in here and put that in there, in here. So if I go and read that file, cat IP info, And then guess what? Is gonna give us the information here. This is static information. It's written in the file. It's nothing more than that. Okay, and then let me see. I want to have a little bit more information here, right? So before I forget, let me put this here. Let me. This is redirecting output to the file. Oh, come on. Okay. So what is this arrow does is it redirects into the file here. Okay, so I want to add like more information to this file. What is going to happen? So let me I type host name here. By the way, host name is a command. So host name, when you type a command name host name, it will display you the name of this computer. You know how you in Windows each and every computer has its own name. One computer cannot be a same name in a same network. If it does, then it will create a problem. So when you type host name, it is actually it will give you the name of the computer. So instead of having it display on the screen, I say host name and then IP info and he hit enter. So what happened now? Okay, so instead of displaying this in here, it wrote it to this file here, IP info. So if you read that file, to read the file, you use the cat command, cat IP info, and then when you hit enter, it will give you a display red hat. But previously, when we did a cat IP info, it had this other info here, right? Yeah, so you got to be careful. When you have this single greater than sign, then it will overwrite whatever it had in this existing file to what you wanted to put it in there. So you have to be very, very careful when you're dealing with some configuration files. When you're actually doing some configuration and things like that, if you just overwrite the file and you don't have a backup, you kind of killed or made a major error while working on the computer. So you have to be careful. So instead of that, what you could do is you could use two of these together. I'm trying to copy this, it won't work. Okay, you guys get the idea, right? If you type twice like this, that means what you're doing is you're adding into it. Okay, let's see here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do host name, and then I'm going to do twice, and then IP info, and then let's cat it. So it kept the original text in there and it added to it. Okay. Let's try using IP config and then hit enter. Oh, I'm sorry. It's if config, and then you do twice, and then you type it into IP info and hit enter. Nothing comes up, but when you cat IP info, there you go. See, the original content is still there. Then it added extra lines. This only because you're using a double redirect. So this is called a redirect. Okay. All right. So far, does it make sense? Any questions?
No.
Okay. So what you could do is there's a lot of things here. You could like 3 or 4 commands. You could like manipulate it, and then you could build up on it. So let's see here. We've been using this ls command, right? We use ls to see the display what's in the file here. Simple. What you could do is you could do ls, and then you could do redirect to IP info and hit enter. Nothing shows up in here. But if you type cat IP info and then all that ls information is copied in here. At the same time, it's keeping the previously original content. So I hope you all got this concept here, what I'm trying to drive home.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Let me see. I created the copy command, right? Copy command and all those. So I'm not going to put anything much in here because you already have these commands up here. So I almost covered everything. All the basic ones that you need to use it, create a directory, move the directory, delete the directory, create a file, move a file. Okay, and please, if you find an error or if you're doing some kind of practice and then you kind of stuck, take a picture and then send it on the WhatsApp group, and so that everybody could see it and somebody in there could reply, or if not, then I'll reply. Okay. So I'm gonna show something called run levels. Okay. Uh, okay, in Linux, there is something called run levels. There are like 6 run levels. Okay. When I type run level There is actually, I'm sorry, there are 7 run levels. Starts with 0 and ends at 6. Okay, so for example, I type, there is a command for a run level. When I type init 0, I think we came across this, but not officially. So what happens when I type init 0? Anybody? So what init 0 does is it will shut down this host. So when you're on the job here, don't just go in there and type init 0. It will crash and it will break a lot of things, and somebody will come down on you. You will make a lot of people angry. So don't ever use this unless you have permission in your ticket, okay? So when you hit enter, you see that the host, it got disconnected, and at the same time it's going down. See? Host is off. When you run that command, you shut down like a very important database host, and now people are screaming. Or if they are running a website like an Amazon website, if it went down, it has a domino effect, and people will find out not very late, and they'll come down on you and say, why'd you shut it down? So you better have some good explanation. That's why I'm explaining you what is init 0 means. When you do init 0, it shuts the computer down. I explained a little earlier, what does host means?
It means the server.
Yeah, exactly. Host means a server, a computer, anything. All right, so let's worry about init. Let me reconnect. Once you get disconnected, you have to re-log in again. And then most of the time it all will auto disconnect you because there is a timer running on, and if there is no activity, say about like 5 minutes or 2 minutes or 3 minutes or 10 minutes, then you will get disconnected. So you have to log in again. That's a security feature. Okay, so let's type init1. Okay, something happened here. Okay. So what init1 is, it's a single user mode. What we were in previously was multi-user mode. And then once you're there, you actually are disconnected at this moment. Once you're in single user mode, that means only one you logged in as root. See, it will give you an error message. So there is only one user in here. There can't be anybody else. It's telling you your root, and nobody else could be in there. So let me type init. We already covered init1, init2. Let's cover init2. Okay. It's going into, you know how in Windows we have like safe mode this, safe mode that, but this one has like 5 modes here. One is a shutdown mode. Number 0 is shutdown mode. Number 2 is single user mode. Okay. Then number 3 is init2 is number 3. It's a multi-user mode without NFS. So let me log in here.
In SF,
I'm sorry?
you're saying without in SF mode, or which?
Yeah. So
What is it?
right now we are in NSF mode. So let me see if I could connect here. Okay. Okay, what NFS is a network file system. When you are in init mode, you are actually into a file system. There is usually a profile associated with a file system. So how do I put this? Have you ever seen like a network drive? If you want to save something, you don't want to save locally, but you want to save it on a network. Have you ever came across when you were working? You
Yes.
have, right? I mean, if you at work, there is a network drive. You could save it on network, right? So in here, not only the network drive is unavailable, any of the network file system sharing or network services are very, very limited here. So you are still in multi-user mode then, but you are restricted without NFS mode. So if you come here, normally what you should be able to do is there's a command. You could tell what run level you want to be in, right? So you want to find out what run level you are in, you type run level. Okay, and it will give you S2. What it means is you are in run level 2. Okay. All right. So the most popular run level is run level 3. This is where most of the system is going to be in. What it is once you type run level 3, you could see the activity here. It's changing from run level 2 to run level 3. So what run level 3 is, it's a multi-user mode. More than one user could connect to it. And then at the same time, it has NFS services. The network services are there. So now if I type run level here, now it has switched to run level 3. Okay. So previously it was 2, I suppose, and now it's 3. Okay. So let's see here if we could connect more than one person here. Let me go back to run level 2. I'm back to run level 2, right? So what run level 2 is, it's a multi-user mode without NFS. So let me see if I could connect as a multi-user. Yeah, I can. When you get a prompt like this, that means you are connected to the host. You know what, actually, hold on. It should make sense now. Okay, so we are talking about run levels. When we type init 0, the system will go down. It's shutdown mode, okay? And then run level 1, init 1. Okay, let me bring this up. Init 1. It will go into the run level, but you will be disconnected here because init 1 is a single user mode. When in essential, single user mode is nothing but a root. If it's a single user mode, nobody else could log in there. So let's see here. Let me type run level. There you go. It says S for one single user mode. Okay. So if I'm trying to type anything from the terminal, it's not going to work. So most of the time it's not preferable. So what you do is you go back into init2. Okay. So you should be able to connect now. So what init2 does, run level 2 does, is it's a multi-user mode without NFS. So there is no NFS shared files in there. So let me connect back here. All right. So whenever you come in here, you're going to check what run level you are in. All right, 2. So I don't want to be in 2. I want to be in 3. Init 3, you just type it in there. And then actually it's like adding more files or whatever it's doing in here. And then you are in run level 3. So run level 3 says multi-user mode with NFS. So more than one user could connect, and then it has a network file sharing enabled. Okay, init 4 is nothing, is undefined, it's just blank. There is nothing you could do about it. Let's see if it's going to work. So it failed. So let's see which run level you are in. Wow, it says 4 though, but you're still not going to be able to do anything here. It's usually init 4 is undefined. All right, so let me type init 6 or init 5. So init 5 goes into Windows mode. In Linux, it's called X Windows, not Windows. All right, I want to restart the system. It is init 6. There you go. It's going to restart. It's going to disconnect. It's going to restart. And then when you are at work, don't ever use init 6 and init 0, because you just simply can't go and if you're having some problem, you just simply can't go and restart the server. You have to get permissions, or the server went down on its own. It has to be a hardware issue. So when you go at work and then type uptime, it'll be like 100 days, 200 days, 300 days, 1,000 days it's been up and running. You have any questions so far? Okay. Okay. So the host is back, so let me reconnect. All right, so let me type run level. So it's in run level 5. All right, you could also type who-r. It will give you the run level with the date information. So either or you could use this. Okay, does it make sense? These are the commands you use it. And then you use
Yes.
init 0, 1, 2, 3 to change the run level. Okay, so I want to check is everybody has their party and this all these things are running on you, right? Can everybody confirm party is running and then a virtual box is running on fine on you guys? Anybody having any problems?
Yeah, it's running. I did have some problems with when I was trying to uh, practice some of the commands, um, like the way that it shows that it should work, and then after I try to like switch to another file, or I try to move a file or make a directory and then move it to another directory, and it didn't work.
So is it giving you error message or what is it happening?
Yeah, it just gives error messages.
Okay.
When I'm trying to log in and then saying that your login is not connecting, so to keep saying keep logging in, they're saying invalid login. So what issue I have?
No, say that again. It wasn't clear.
When I'm trying to log in my Red Hat and they're saying login incorrect. I try the same user, the host, and my password, but it's continues showing login incorrect. So.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's take a look here. You want to share your screen?
Okay.
It's better to stop at this moment and then make sure everybody's on the same page before we move on.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, log in there. What is the login you're putting in there?
Host?
No. Always remember the login is going to be can somebody help him?
Root. You have to put in root.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. So you don't have to log in there, right? Once the host is up,
Yeah, I don't
you
know why
just
this is
log in from putty.
yeah, this was off somehow, and then the putty is not working. And when I try restart it, they give me that option to go again.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, when I did the run level, because I was trying to follow along with what we were doing, and I at first I did init. I didn't do init 0. I don't think I did that one. I think I did
Okay, can you share your screen?
init 1. Yeah. But I restarted it anyway because I found that I was like totally locked out and I couldn't do anything.
Okay, no
So
problem.
so that's fine.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna cover one more thing and I'm gonna stop. Then what we'll do is we'll have a little bit more time to go over things. I really wanted to see you guys, the catch up on the speed. 。 My screen is visible, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So have fun with this. Go home and then practice this as much as you want. And then when you are in this, you won't be able to connect from PuTTY. You will be able to connect from PuTTY here. You will be able to connect from PuTTY here. Don't worry about this. It's undefined. Multi-user mode. You should be able to connect from PuTTY. And when it do init 6, it reboots. So here's the command here. Command init 0 shuts down. Init 1, you go into single user mode. Init 2, then you will be in a multi-user mode. When you are in a single user mode, what does it mean? You are not able to connect from PuTTY. So how are you going to be in there? In this scenario, you have to be really in front of the host. You have to go inside the data center. You have to explain somebody why you need to go into data center. You have to get approvals and all that. As a Linux admin, there are like separation of duties. There are some guys who have access to data center and some who don't, and then some who have access to data center on a case-by-case basis. Does everybody remember what data center is, right? I showed you the picture.
Yes.
Okay, see, this is data center. Not everybody is very highly secure, highly guarded, because this is everything. If this goes down, the company is out of business. Everything, all their data, all their files, all the legal stuff, all their backups is all in here. It's all in here. People just don't have access to it. Even the managers, if they are not the managers, they don't have access to it. They need to like request it, and then somebody have to say, why do you need it? So it costs a lot of money to maintain and all that. Good thing. Okay, so let me move on. I'm gonna cover the booting process. Okay, so let's see here. Booting process, right? When I do init 6, what's happening is the computer is booting and displaying some files, this and that, right? So it actually goes through a process. By the time it displayed all those things, and by the time it come up to this menu, and by the time it goes through all this process here, whatever it's doing, something is happening in the background. Okay, so by the time it went down and by the time it came up, it goes through this process here. There are virtually 9 steps in here it goes through, and not all of them are visible because it's going so fast. So what I would recommend is, I mean, it's okay. You could like read it several times and memorize it. Sometimes they will ask you in the interview, what is BIOS initialization. So let me go over this again. Okay,
Seven
right
is
now,
not in the line.
Huh?
Number 7 is not in the line, so
Okay. Thank you. So right now, let me start it again. Okay. When the system is rebooting, it's going through the very first steps. It goes through the BIOS initialization. Okay. After the BIOS initialization happens, BIOS passes control to first stage of bootloader, which resides in MBR. So you guys could remember MBR, right? Master boot record from Windows.
Yeah.
It has like a very, very small code on the master boot record on the hard drive. Very small, maybe like one byte or 8 bytes. And then from there, it gives information to uh, the second stage of bootloader. So first stage of bootloader passes control to the second stage of bootloader, which resides in boot partition. Okay, and then from there, the second stage of bootloader initializes the kernel. Kernel is nothing but a seed of the operating system. Okay. From
Mm-hmm.
there, kernel detects all the devices, like all the devices which are inside the host, like hard drive, USB, network, graphics. Is going to detect all that and initialize the drivers. So it will detect them, and based on that, it will initialize the drivers, and then at the same time, will mount the root file system into read-only mode. Okay, the file system is, if you remember Bootstrap, is actually bootstrapping it, the file system into read-only mode. And then there is something called init process. Okay, it starts the init process. Init process, it reads this file here. It reads this file init tab, etc init tab file. And then based on that file, whatever that default run level is going to bring that host up into. And then this file is executed. Right after this file is executed. We could go and take a look. And then based on that file, system initialization script configure UODEV devices. Okay, universal devices, name of the host, IP address, and remounts the file system. And system V services starts based on run level. So unfortunately, all these things are like 9 steps are going through it. The moment I say restart, the moment I do this, all this process is going on right now. It barely takes like 10-15 seconds. So it's come up here. Okay, let me do init. I'm sorry, init 6. Init 6 is the one that restarts it, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, reboot. So let me do init 6. The moment I hit enter, it's going to go through its BIOS initialization happens. Now it already happened. The BIOS is already out of the question here. So it's already on to like number 4 or 5 already. So see how fast it's going. And then it's probably now on to number 6. And then it's probably doing, looking at what it's doing here, probably doing like 6 and 7 right now. Okay, it's probably doing 8 now. Okay, and it's right at number 9 right now. So system V services starts based on run level. Let's go here and see restart. Okay, so what we could do is we could go in here and take a look at the files here. So okay, I'm looking for the boot folder here. Boot, it's not going to show up here because boot is the very first partition on the hard drive. Okay, let's see if I could. I don't want to see this. Okay, here, look at this. Okay, this is the new drive, right? When you get a brand new drive, there is nothing on it. So the boot partition is very first sector here. It has, okay, here is showing MBR, master boot record. Only this part has all this information here. First stage of bootloader passes control to second stage of bootloader and a boot partition. So in MBR itself, there are two, first stage and second stage. And in the tiny space, it has all that information to bring that computer up. If somebody deletes that boot partition, then whole track 0, sector 0. Where it says MBR. Well, you get the idea. Like it's showing kind of big over here. It's even smaller than this. It's probably this one is a good example here. The red, this part here is a master boot record. It has all that information to bring the system up. Okay. So then it reads other files here. Let's go take a look here. So after that happens, it goes into the second stage of bootloader and initializes the kernel. And then kernel detects all the devices, initializes drives and all those. So throughout the process, one of the step is it reads this file here. So we could go in there and take a look. Okay. See, okay, let me do VI. Okay. You see in here, anything which has like a pound sign before it's commented out, it's not going to, the system is unable to read it. What this R is just for humans to read it, they are able to read this. So in here it says like 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so this is what actually I already showed you guys. But down here, when it says ID 5 init default, that means this is set to init 5. So what is init 5? Multi-user mode. It makes sense here because right now the host is in multi-user mode. Okay, let's see here. So if you want to do any changes, you come here and you could do the changes here. Let me edit it. Let me delete it, number 5, and make it 3. Okay, and I'm going to save and exit. Let me type run level. foo-r. So right now, by default, no matter how many times the computer starts, when it does a regular starts, it comes back into run level 5. Okay, now that I changed the run level, what do you guys think will come back into? Let me restart it. Were you guys able to see what run level I was in? And then I changed to which one? 3, right? What is number 3? Multi-user mode with NFS. So let's see if it's going to come back into Windows mode or not. We told it to be in the number 3 mode. Hopefully it should come back. It shouldn't come back to the Windows mode. It should come back to the black screen. Okay, see, I told you. And then since it's a multi-user mode, I should be able to connect from the party. Okay, let's see here. Let's type who-r. See, it's a run level 3. Okay, let's go into run level 5. So it's conveniently switching from run level 3 to run level 5, right? Let me see what run level it's in right now. See, it's in run level 5. Okay, can somebody tell me what will happen when I restart the computer now? I'm doing init 6. What run level is going to come back into? Aftab?
पुलिस भाई
या कौन से रन लेवल में आएंगे आप वो अब रीस्टार्ट करें तो right now it's run level 5, right? Run level 5 is Windows. So let's take a look here. I'm restarting it. Hopefully it should come back into Windows, right?
run level 5 is window.
Yeah, X Windows. Chris, do you have any idea?
I think it should come back to run level 5 because that was the last run level that you were in before you shut it down and restarted it.
All right, let's take a look.
Because it remembers the last run level that you were in, right? And then when you restart, then it takes you to that.
Okay, so it didn't come back into run level 5. You know why?
No.
Okay, because it's the default is set in this file. The default is set in okay. Let me go down here. Okay, do you see on the bottom left? Are you guys able to see this here?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
remember, so what happens is in here, it's hard-coded here, hardwired here to be in run level 3. But at the moment, we were just telling it to be in run level 5. But when the system restarts, it reads the init tab file, etc/init tab file. It reads this file here, and then it will put that whatever run level it's in. It will throw the computer into that run level.
So where is the run
Okay.
level 5?
it's not in run level 5. The default we set the default to 3. Okay. But if you want, we could just make it go into run level 5. You just type run level. It gives you 3, right? Or who -r.
Yes.
It gives you 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's put it in init 5. Okay. We put it in init 5. But it's not hard coded. If you go back into the file here, it's not hard coded to be init 5. It's hard coded to be init 3. So when the system reboots again, it's going to go back into init 3. Whatever this files has configuration set to, is going to go back into that run level. So what we did now is, since let's see what run level it's in now. Obviously it's in run level 5 because we could see the windows.
So init 3 is a multi-user, right?
Exactly. Init 3 is multi-user mode. And init 5 is multi-user mode with X windows.
Okay.
So you could use the mouse and things around in here. Okay. So one more time, what will happen if I reboot the system here? I didn't make any changes. In here, init tab, the run level is set to 3. But right now we are in run level 5. So what will happen when we restart the system?
It will start again, right?
It will start again with which run level?
Init 3.
Yeah, exactly. As long as this file is set to 3 down here on the bottom, no matter how many times restart is going to come back into run level 3. Okay, let's take a look. Init 6 is just to restart, so let's restart it with that command. It's now going to come back into run level 5, which is X Windows. So the booting process does all that here. Booting process, when it's doing the booting and all, it goes through all that, and then okay, it goes through this, it detects this, and then now when it's time for okay, which run level you want to be in, it reads this file, and when it reads this file, if the run level is set to 3, if the run level is set to 3, it's going to put it in 3. If it's set to 5, it will put it into 5. And if it's set to, of course, 2, it will put it into 2. And if it's set to 1, it will put it into 1. And the 0 and 6 are nothing but just a reboot. So let me see, let me log in again here.
0 is shut down the computer, right?
Yeah, shut down the computer. It's still called run level.
Reboot, right?
Yeah. Okay, so let's go into here. Okay, it's set to run level 3. That's why it came back to run level 3. It didn't come back up to into things here. But don't put down like run level 0 in here. Man, you're gonna get fired. If you put down run level 0 here, if you think you have enough money and you want to get fired, do something like this. Put 0 in here, the computer will never come back up. And then put 6 in here, computer will keep restarting. So if you want to make your boss really unhappy, do something like this, and you will definitely get fired. Yeah, I'm not kidding, because you would have the root access, your boss may not have a root access. So if you want his boss to yell at him, you could do something like that, and then you will get fired for sure. All right, let's play around with this here. You want to change it to 6 here?
No.
Okay. I mean, I was we could do it here. We just, you guys could play around with it, okay? What is the most going to happen? You're going to have to create a new box. Okay, since this is 3 here, I'm going to make it 5 here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'll save and exit, and then let me restart again. So this time around, it will definitely come up into Windows because it's hard coded. Is it coming up into Windows mode? Yeah, see, it came up into Windows mode. We could connect here. And then we do run level who-r and gives you run level 5. You could, like, at the moment, you could change it to run level 3 for fun. It goes back into run level 3. But when the system restarts, it goes back into run level 5 because etc init tab, remember this is very, very important. And then this file. All right, let's go take a look at this file here. So we covered this much here. It says it reads the init file and boots up the system into default run level. So for this host at this moment, the default run level is a run
3.
level 5. How would you know what's the default run level? You have to go in here, vi/etc/init tab, and then you go all the way down, and then you see ID is 5. All this is junk here. Don't worry about this. This is anything that starts with tab is junk. I mean, you don't have to have it in there as long as init tab file is executable. Is there? This is just the comments in here. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at this file here. So we go into vi. So this is actually a system initialization file. Sysinit. What does it mean? Sysinit. So what is a system initialization file? rc.sysinit. Where does it sit in there? It sits in etc/rc.d. That's a folder. This is a folder and this is a file name. This could be an interview question, okay? I'm going to mark it down here, very important. Anything I'm marking down in this document, make sure you kind of memorize it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Right here, the asterisks like this. That means interview. Okay, this is very important. This is very important.
All red lines is important, right?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I could make it red lines. No, not this. This is like, don't worry about this. These are. Yeah, you're right. I could
That's
make it.
autocorrect.
Yeah, that's autocorrect. Anything with the red stars is very important.
Okay. Sir, you uploaded yesterday video or no?
Huh?
You already uploaded yesterday video?
Yeah, it's already there. Okay, this is important. This is very important. Memorize this. This is just informational so far. Okay, I'll mark it. If I see something important, I'll mark it in here, okay? That way you could remember it. And I think this is important too. Run level, how do you check the run level? Either you type run level or who-r. Okay, so let me finish. So we're gonna look at this system initialization file. And then you could see in here, there's a lot of information in here, row lines and lines of programming. This is actually programming set of instructions. This is probably done by developers here. This is beyond the scope of this course. But you just have to remember it. You may have to come in here and then do some changes, but you really have to be on the job to learn more about this file. To be honest with you, even at my present job here, I haven't came across anything. And then there may be a different team who is fiddling in here and working in here. Okay. So one thing I really want you guys to do is, as I cannot stress more, that practice the command lines and practice this every day. You should come in here, start from top and stop wherever I told you to stop, and then go all the way on the bottom, and then practice this VI commands. These are the essential ones, very, very essential. These are like copying lines, pasting lines, undoing it, Shift P. Don't use plus, it's just Shift P. Somebody miswrote this shit. Shift and then P, it will paste above the cursor. DD clips the line, that means deletes the line, and then you could paste it somewhere. So practice all this and let me know if there is any problem here. Actually, I will go through all this, and if there are any errors in here, I'll take it out. I think there's too much information. I will just reduce this here, but go ahead and start practicing this, because you should be able to come in here and then be able to browse through like the way I'm doing. I could just go into this file here, go up, and then I'm going down here I'm using like key combination on the keyboard here. I'm not using up and down arrow keys. If I want to type anything, I do insert. I could type, oh my god, I just typed something in the very important file, like a Mac here. I hold Q and exclamation and hit enter. So what it did was it quit without saving. Okay, so you got to be careful what you're doing here. Normally you have to make copy. If you're dealing with like system configuration file, you would just like go in the folder and then make a copy, and then rename the copy and then try to edit in that way. So what you do is like VI test, and then you go into insert mode, type junk here, and then you do YY, then you do P. You copied it so many times, and then you type junk here, and then you do YY again, and you do P. So you get the idea. See, in the instant, I am able to create and copy and delete manipulate the files. So you should be able to go in this and out and be able to type really good. Once you pick up speed, then everything else will fall into place. Okay? Okay, look, there is another file in here, what we covered today. I think you could go in here.
Booting sequence.
Yeah, booting sequence, we covered that, right? So I did make this file here. So let's see here, BIOS. You could read through this here. As long as you know this information, this is good. But you could read through it, and then, but I mean, for Chris, it may be easy what BIOS means. But for Ahmed, I would highly encourage, like, go on Google and type this, what BIOS means, what MBR means, what grub means. We're not going to go into detail about all this here, but it's good to just Google and remember what those things are. You know what? Actually, don't worry about this here. It will be too advanced at this moment here. But after the class, all the lecture notes will be here. All the running notes from yesterday up until yesterday, it's here. So I'm going to upload it again, today's work. Whatever I'm typing in here is going to be in this document, so you have access to it, so you can come back and then read through this. And then this is the ISO file if you want to download again from somewhere. After this may be helpful when you go to India,
Mm-hmm.
And then if you miss the lecture, you come back here and then go into lecture mode.
Okay.
And then you're going to main website. You're not going to iMac Tech. You're going to main website here.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you come back here into blog, all the videos is going to be here. The latest is going to be on the top. This is today.
Okay.
Yeah, I need to change the date here. And then you come back here into Linux. And then all the lecture notes are going to be here. And then if something is out of order, I will arrange that in order for you guys. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be getting we'll pick up some speed here in following weeks, but don't skip on practicing it. If you think you're gonna skip on practicing it, practice later, then it's gonna get difficult. So somehow, somewhere, if you have like 10 minutes, spend some time, then come back. If you have 20 minutes, spend some time, then come back. Because all of us has like laptops and things like that, right? So you could practice anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on, there I will give you some information so that you could memorize it. You could keep it with you on your phone. And then whenever you have time, you could take a look and read it or print it out and put it in front of your car dashboard on the bold letters. And then while you're driving, you could just glance over it if you're stuck in traffic. So it's going to take about 6 months before we really get out of this class. But if you are guys going to like continue the pace and then stay up with this, it's going to be fun. And you probably end up, I wouldn't be surprised if you guys end up being hired by Google, Apple, Amazon, any of those big companies. We have a lot of things to cover. And we will cover it. So if you guys have any questions, start using that WhatsApp chat. That way everybody else could see their question. Somebody may have a question, they may not be asking it. They may also say, okay, I need this question answered also, and somebody will answer it. If not, I'll answer it. Okay? All right, guys, I'm going to stop it now, and then I'll upload the video later today.
All right, sir.
Okay. All right, Allah Hafiz.
Thank you.
Allah Hafiz.
Assalamu
Take
alaikum.
care. Walaikum.